Lost this, lost this, lost this, lost this, lost this, lost this. Hey guys, what's up? It's the Culture Detective here, investigating your favorite anime, and finally, I'm going to talk about the latest Attack on Titan, or Shingeki no Kyojin, the final season, part 1 out of 2. So, yeah, Attack on Titan is one of the most popular and most talked about animes of our generation. It is adapted from the manga of the same name, written by the absolute genius Isayama Hajime, and then it is adapted into anime. Now, for this review, I don't want to just sit down and talk for like half an hour. So this time I'm going to talk, but instead of to my camera, I'm going to talk to a microphone, and I'm going to put a lot of videos on it, so there's going to be a new format. And the reason behind this is because Attack on Titan is too good of an anime. It is too good of an anime to have a review where I just sit and talk. Also, before I start the review, I would like to say major spoiler alerts for seasons 1, 2, 3 part 1, 3 part 2, and this season as well, because there are scenes in this anime where I can't talk about if I don't spoil a bunch of shit to you. So, unfortunately, spoiler alert to the whole thing, basically. Yeah, Attack on Titan season 1 is pretty good. Season 2 is a little slow paced, but still pretty good. But it is seasons 3, part 1 and 2, which really hooked me into the story, because at this point Attack on Titan has elevated itself from a story about humans trying to survive fighting titans to something way more intricate and layered, with bold, ambitious world building, intense political thriller drama, and very intricate and layered characters that I really love seeing on screen. To recap, the story started off where all the characters lived inside a country which is surrounded by 3 rings of walls, and there are many cities located within these walls. These walls are Wall Maria, Wall Rose, and Wall Sina, respectively. So Eren, Mikasa, and Armin are victims of a very tragic incident that happened in their hometown Shiganshina, where for the first time in 100 years, Titans broke the walls and killed a lot of people. They wanted to fight back, so they joined the Survey Corps, which is a team of soldiers that's responsible for fighting Titans. But people always discriminated against them, because usually it's the people who suck who joins the Survey Corps, because they're going to die anyways. We also have other characters like Jean, the asshole turned good guy, Sasha, the food-loving country girl, Connie, whose family became the victims of a beast titan, Krista, or Historia, who was secretly in the royal family but was tossed away due to political reasons, Reiner and Bertold, who are revealed to be secretly the 2 titans which destroyed Eren's hometown, the Armor Titan and the Colossal Titan respectively, and quote-unquote Ymir, who's also a human titan fusion who has a tragic backstory and is at least 80 years old but looks like she's 15 or something. And Annie, who's this really emotionless girl, turns out to be a really smart and powerful female titan who sealed herself in a block of crystal after being defeated by Eren, and she never showed up in season 2 or 3 or even now. And of course, Eren himself turned out to be a titan as well. We also got Commander Levi, who's really chill and smart and talented, Commander Erwin, who's really good and dedicated person, and Hanji, who's super fascinated in titans and is kinda eccentric. In season 2, the story slows down a little bit. We have Reiner and Bertold as the Armor and Colossal Titan kidnapping Eren and quote-unquote Ymir, trying to bring them back to their own country, that is Marley. This resulted in a huge battle where the Survey Corps managed to retrieve Eren, and Reiner, Bertold, and Ymir returned to the outside wall. We also learned that there are 9 specific titans which can be possessed by a human being, so that the person can transform into a shifter titan as they please. The 9 are Founder, Attack, Armored, Colossal, Female, Jaw, Beast, Cart, and Warhammer. Each Titan have their own abilities, and every human being who possesses the Titan will die in 13 years. To inherit the Titan from a human being, you must be turned into a pure Titan yourself and eat the human who possesses the shifter Titan, and specifically their spinal fluid. Things really begin to get complex in Season 3 when we learn about the royal history of the country. Rod Rice was the rightful heir to the throne, but the throne was given to someone else, which resulted in a corrupted religion-based government. Rod Rice was also Historia's father, and he basically kidnapped Eren because he knew that Eren had the founding Titan, which is the most powerful Titan out of the 9. In fact, Eren's dad, Grisha, originally had the Attack Titan, then he ate one of Rod Rice's family members and had the Founder Titan, and he made his own son Eren eat him so Eren would have both Attack Titan and Founder Titan. Season 3 Part 2 was way more insane and intense when we had the 6-episode-long Battle of Shiganshina, where Eren returned to his hometown to find his own house basement where Grisha kept his secrets. But upon arrival, the armored, colossal, and beast titans showed up and they fought the Survey Corps, resulting in extreme loss, including Erwin Smith. But they managed to capture Bertolt and had Armin eat him, so Armin would become the next colossal titan. After Eren found the notebook his dad left him, he learned that their own country is located on an island called Paradis Island. The mainland is a country called Marley, which is almost like the World War I equivalent of Germany, where the technology is way more advanced. Essentially, hundreds of years ago, Eldians are responsible for killing a lot of the people on other countries. And then fast forward to present day, Marley now discriminates against Eldians and treat them like a lower class of human beings, and sometimes even banish them to Paradis Island by turning them into a pure Titan. Eldians were constantly being discriminated against and were always exiled to the Paradis Island, and out of nationalism, the Marleyan government had always been planning to retrieve the Founder Titan, who's now in the possession of Eren Yeager. First thing to talk about when it comes to the latest season of Attack on Titan is the very strange decision to change studios, where essentially originally Wit Studios is responsible for adapting Attack on Titan into anime, but suddenly it's MAPPA Studios. And this decision has caused a bit of controversy because we all know that Wit Studios did a great job at adapting Attack on Titan, but now we have MAPPA Studios where the animation is going to be slightly different, the CGI is going to be slightly different as well, everything, the tone, the colors, it's also going to be slightly different. But honestly, I'm satisfied. I think the glary, glowy, gloomy animation flavor of MAPPA Studios work really well, especially for the dark, grim tone that the story is going for in this season. On top of that, sure, some CGI is a little distracting. We even have CGI Jean in one shot, which made me go, well, what? But that's just minor flaw. I think overall the story is fantastic. Next, we have the opening sequence, the OP, and that is Shinsei Gamete-chan with Boku no Senso, or My War, which is Lost This. Holy shit, I love this song. This OP is fantastic, and it is easily my favorite OP of the entire Attack on Titan anime so far. It's absolutely amazing. It's way better than all of the previous OPs. First of all, let's talk about the song itself. It is dark, it is sinister, it is dramatic, yet there is a dash of sadness to it that's poignant and poetic, and the way the instrumentals are put together, it's kind of chaotic, kind of messy, and of course that is the style of Shinsei Gamete-chan, but it sort of adds a historical feel to the song, which is really nice. It's almost like we're seeing a fairy tale or a folklore sort of unfolding itself, and it feels like we're witnessing a very powerful story unfolding, and it is amazing. Of course, we have the frontman of the band, Noko, who is very eccentric. He sings with a voice changer, therefore he sounds like a kid in the song, but again, it perfectly fits the theme of the story, because a lot of the characters in Attack on Titan started off as kids, and now they're teenagers. Actually, they're adolescents. in this part of the story. And it perfectly fits the tone. And then we have the animation of the OP itself, which is my favorite out of all the Attack on Titan OPs. Because in the previous OPs, it's basically just things happening, But this OP is way better in that we see the explosions. My favorite shot being soldiers marching, and it really shows the spoils and the pain of war, and also the very special color palette, the rain falling on the hand. That is a really nice touch. Yeah, absolutely amazing. And then we have the ED, which is not my favorite. My favorite is, of course, Yugere no Tori by Shinsei Kamete-chan, also Isayama Hajime's favorite band, and I can totally see why. They're also the same band who made the song about a suicide girl, and for the longest time I thought this song is from like 3-4 years ago, but actually it is released near like 2019 or 2020 or something, which is way newer than I thought it is. But yeah, Shinsei Kamete-chan has a knack for writing very compelling and dramatic, yet strange and eccentric music. Anyways, the ED is called Shock, Shingeki, and it's not as great as I thought it would be. It's a little clean, little polished for my taste, but I still like the chords. It's kind of weary and dreary. Immediately starting off, we have episode 1, The Other Side of the Ocean, and holy shit, it started off with a bang. The entire episode is basically 21 minutes of intense battle sequence where Marleyan soldiers were in a battle against the Middle East Federation. And what I love even more about this episode is that Isayama Hajime was so bold as to do another time jump. Attack on Titan is the kind of story where every single hour matters because of how much can change in a short period of time. That's why each time jump is bold, daunting, and powerful. We have the first time jump where everyone trained in the Survey Corps for 5 years. After those 5 years, the next 5 months is basically Season 1, Episode 5, all the way to Season 3, Episode 21. And then we had a 7-month time jump on Season 3, Episode 22. Now we have a 4-year time jump. So much had changed. So much could be different, and it feels both excitingly new yet somewhat depressing because of how so much has changed throughout time. Anyways, the battle sequence was clean AF. We also see more of the Cart Titan and the Jaw Titan. Porco Galliard holds the jaw and Peak Finger holds the cart. Zeke Yeager, aka Aaron's half-brother, holds the beast, and Reiner still holds the armor. Both Female and Colossal are now on Paradise Island, and Aaron still holds both the Founder and Attack. I love the World War I style with the trenches, the weaponry, and the destruction. The haunting side of war, including the PTSD and the guilt, was also shown. It's just so impressive how war and nationalism is portrayed so depressingly in an anime. Episode 2 is Midnight Train, and it is more of a talk-heavy episode. We see Falco Grice, younger brother of Colt Grice, both Eldians used by Marleyans as candidates to inherit the next Titans. It's already confirmed that Colt will inherit Zeke's Beast Titan. We also see Gabby Brown, Reiner's younger sister. She's arrogant, confident, and smart, and she wanted to inherit Reiner's Armored Titan. Also, she's played by Sakura Ayane. Yay. What really struck me in this episode is the propaganda and the constant discrimination that Eldians living in Marley had to put up with, yet most of them are brainwashed to a point of hating their own ethnicity, another heavy topic on display. Episode 3, Door of Hope, is another fantastic episode where we see the events of Season 1 and prior in Reiner's perspective. Reiner is now easily my favorite character. I guess Erwin and Annie would come close. He has gone through a lot of struggles and pain himself to get to where he is, and he's having conflicting thoughts of whether being loyal to the nation or to be humane. We also finally meet Eren Yeager himself, but in a totally different look. He has an eye patch, broken leg, and he's got long hair and facial hair. We see him conversing with Falco, and it's honestly depressing to see him becoming someone this broken. And I also love the idea that now we need to know, how did Eren end up in Marley? Episode 4, From One Hand to the Other, is another transitional episode where we see more of the political side of things in Marley. Essentially, we have Willie Tiber, a really rich and powerful guy from the Tiber family, which inherited the Warhammer Titan. He invited people from all across the world, the Attack on Titan equivalent of the Japanese people, African people, Middle Eastern people, and others, to a huge festival where Willie Tiber himself would give a talk. And while not much happened on this episode, we also do see more dynamic between Falco and Gabby, which is nice and endearing. However, the real shit begins on episode 5, Declaration of War. The night when Willie Tiber gave a speech on the stage essentially declaring war against the Eldians and specifically Eren Yeager. And this happened concurrently when Eren reunited with another character, which has created such tension and such great character moments that I absolutely love. This reunion carries so much weight and so much history, it's both devastating and horrifying. Aside from that, some other side operation has begun where apparently some of the military owned by Tiber, or at least so it seems, are trying to lock the other Titans up, including Porco and Peak. Apparently there's also some kind of scheme or plot happening in the Marley military itself. Something is stirring in the pot and it's so damn nerve-wracking. Episodes 6 and 7, the Warhammer Titan and Assault, are two back-to-back extremely intense battle episodes that reach levels of tension that I totally did not expect. While I won't say it's as devastating and as emotional as the Battle of Shiganshina, this is by far the most well-written and well-paced battle in the series so far. Holy shit. What impresses me is how Isayama connects one beat to another seemingly in this battle. From the moment Eren bursted out of the ground where Eren has the upper hand till the moment Warhammer shows up and damn, it's epic as hell. Then Eren gains the upper hand when the gang finally arrived. I was honestly opening my mouth wide in shock when I heard 3D maneuvering gear sounds. It's such a welcoming and goosebumps inducing moment. Eren gets the lower hand again when Porco and Peak showed up with their jaw and cart. Zeke showed up with his Beast Titan. Eren regains upper hand when Armin stepped in with his Colossal Titan. Truly another epic and grandiose entrance when a young stranger shows up in a fishing boat off of the coast to the slash of thunder appearing in a far distance and the shockwave. We see more fights between the Jaw, the Cart, and the Beast versus the gang, and then we have a friggin' Zeppelin! The Survey Corps has a frickin' Zeppelin! Even though there are moments where the CGI doesn't mix well with the 2D, like CGI Jean, looks a little weird. But aside from that, this episode has got to be one of the most eventful, intense, and masterful episodes of Attack on Titan to date. Episode 8, Assassin's Bullet, is basically the cooldown episode, but Isayama Hajime has mastered the cooldown, and instead of letting the tension actually cool down, of course he had to make it very unexpectedly bittersweet at the end. The gang was basically leaving Liberio on a Zeppelin, and Falco and Gabby decided to... yeah, spoiler alert for the rest of the video if you haven't caught up to this part. But basically, Gabby tried to abort the Zeppelin and Falco followed her. Gabby immediately shot Sasha the moment she entered the Zeppelin, and damn. Wow. There's not even any build-up or anything. It just happened. And it's devastating. It's brutally real. I thought there would be much more for her, but it just happened. On top of that, we have several things going on. Zeke Yeager turns out to be someone who's not he seemed to be, which is shocking, but given all the hints on the previous episode, it kinda makes sense. Damn. Episode 9, Brave Volunteers, and 10, A Sound Argument, are both flashback-heavy episodes that finally detail what happened 3 years and 2 years ago, and these episodes are important. Surely they're not as entertaining, but they give a lot of more detail to the situation, which is very much needed. People like Yelena and Onya Pokon secretly went to Paradise Island and offered help as a team of Marleyan spy soldiers, aka the Brave Volunteers. And then they said that Zeke Yeager himself has a plan to free Eldians, which again is really confusing. It just came out of nowhere, but I'm sure there is a good reason. I put my trust in Isayama Hajime. On episode 10, A Sound Argument, we see Azumabito from Hizuru, basically the AOT equivalent of Japan. She visited Paradise Island and offered alliance. Because of all this, the Paradisians are introduced to way more technology like shotguns, train systems, and food they've never had before, and this is kind of eye-opening for both the characters and the story. It's like seeing a very surreal world meeting with the real world. Back to present day, Eren has totally changed. Usually characters drastically changing is confusing, but in this case it's dark, it's strange, and it's another one of those things in Attack on Titan that needs more than an explanation. The drama continues on episode 11, Deceiver. Holy shit, Isayama Hajime does not stop writing gripping drama. We're talking the subversion of expectations, how the plot progresses, how it all complicates and singulates together. The more I see it, the more I realize that this is a masterpiece. As if the situation can't get any worse and dire, there's now a split within the military, Jaegerists and non-Jaegerists. There are people who support Zeke's cold-blooded and inhumane plan to defeat every other nation around the world, and Eren and Yelena both followed Zeke. And then the others believe that Eren is unstable and will team up with Zeke and exploit innocent people on the island and to gain their victory. Of course, at least this is how it seems on the surface, but it's more complicated, given that it is Isayama Hajime. This caused a lot of tension in between members of the military, and it's distressing and ironic. How the military overthrew the government in Season 3 Part 1 and it's considered victory, and now Jaegerists try to overthrow the military and it's causing so much chaos and destruction. Me personally, I lean on non-Jaegerists, but this is one of those brilliant plot points Isayama had written where both sides have their own perspectives. Both sides have the same goal, but with different ideologies. It's devastating how easily people are polarized and split. This also caused the public to hate military, putting Eldians in a terrible position. On the other hand, we have Gabi and Falco. It just really sucks to see Gabi so brainwashed, but I understand why. It's true that Eldians have destroyed many nations hundreds of years ago, but that's similar to hating all Germans because Germany used to be Nazist. Again, this is all about the matter of perspective, and it's splitting people apart in smaller scales and larger scales. Episode 12, Guides, opens off with Armin speaking to Annie. I really hope Annie hears all this. Damn, she's got a lot of catch up to do. This also confirmed my theory that Armin is going to have a crush on Annie. It's been foreshadowed all the way back in Season 1 when Annie refused to kill Armin. Now that Armin had inherited Bertolt's memories, and since Bertolt had a crush on Annie, this would only make sense. The civil war within the military resumes, and this time more brutal than ever. There's an explosive assassination scene that came out of nowhere and had so much devastating implications. It's impressive how high caliber of drama this anime has become. Then we have episode 13, Children of the Forest. Oh my god. This might be my favorite episode so far. It's so goddamn well written. I don't know how did Isayama do it, but he did it. All these storylines converge and intertwine, and it all goes back to one idea. Gabi and Falco visited Nicolo's restaurant. Meanwhile, Hanji and her team of Survey Corps, including Mikasa, Armin, John, and Connie, also visited the restaurant to question Nicolo, and then at the same time the Jaegerists were planning to find Zeke as their first step. Things intensified when Gabi, with her strong patriotism for Marley, running into Nicolo, who is a Marleyan but was also in love with Sasha, and it had reached a horrible climax point. Then it further worsened when he had to bring this up to Sasha's parents and family, and then Hanji's team walks in and things complicated. Then we learn an unnerving and devastating twist. With an even bigger twist, the Jaegerists themselves showed up, including Eren. It's just non-stop devastation and tension. What's beautifully tragic about this is that everyone has already lost their own direction. Eldians and Marleyans hate each other. Now the Marleyan military is fighting each other. Nicolo had to struggle between his Marleyan identity and his love, Falco between his patriotism and humanity, Armin and Mikasa between their loyalty to the military and hope for the future. And if this isn't stressful enough, the Marleyans have secretly started their counterattack unbeknownst to the Eldians. The last 3 episodes finished really, really, really fast. We have episode 14, Savagery, featuring a brutal confrontation between Eren and Mikasa and Armin. It's kind of shocking how far the story has gone from being relatively lighthearted to something this brutal and dark. We also see more of the Jaegerists being manipulative and authoritarian, being just as bad as the people who are hating on them across the ocean. The forced beating of Commander Shadis was brutal as hell, and they even had to classify members of the military as true followers of Jaeger, Force followers, and the lowest class non-followers. Another insane scene is when Zeke's escape plan from Levi, which is both anticlimactic but brilliant and symbolic in a lot of ways. Episode 15, Soul Savior, is basically a flashback episode regarding Zeke. I love that a lot of the characters are having so much more depth and layer than originally shown. Zeke's story is interesting and compelling in and of itself. What happened to Zeke on this episode is unpredictable, shocking, but ultimately it's depressing to see where he's gone and how he's become. Episode 16 is called Heaven and Earth, which I think is a better translation than Above and Below. But basically, the Marleyans executed their sudden attack on Paradise Island, and oh my god, this is where it really begins. But what's brilliant about the writing in these latest chapters is that the real plan of the Jaegerists isn't even to destroy Marley and the rest of the world. That sounds ridiculous and impractical. The real plan is actually much more realistic and much more convincing. And sure, towards the remaining Eldians, this plan is cruel and inhumane, but in the grander scheme of things, this is actually the most sensible plan of all. If peace really isn't an option, this is. Really. Peak Porco, Reiner, Theo, and co have finally arrived and have set their plan in motion. And once again, now that we know that what are the motives of Eren and Zeke, and then we see Marley making their move, it's almost as if Marley has taken an upper hand once again. Isayama really successfully creates ups and downs, both inter-plot points like in the Battle of Liberio itself, and intra-plot points like in the whole arc and series in general. Overall, Attack on Titan has risen to a level of mastery that I absolutely have not expected. We are witnessing a masterpiece, not only with gripping drama and shocking twists and turns. Isayama Hajime takes the story to a completely different level. The story is so much deeper and powerful than it seems. Remember how back in season 1 the story is still about humans fighting against Titans? Oh boy, how different reality actually is. The story has gone so far when it comes to world building, revealing the entire lore and history bit by bit, showcasing a world built around hatred, nationalism, and politics. Isayama portrays this masterfully by creating a situation where both sides have their reasons to do what they do. The world has a reason to hate Eldians for being so dangerous and inhumane 1,000 years ago, but at the same time Eldians do not deserve the oppression and brainwashing 1,000 years later. Things even complicated even further and had created some of the most brilliant writing I've ever witnessed. The story really shows how easily polarized people can be, how easy it is to split the people. This also reflects the socio-political state of the world we are in right now. The characters are intricate and layered. Reiner is personally my favorite character. It's amazing how my favorite character changes every season because our perception of a lot of these characters change every season depending on how much of them and how much of the world is revealed. Reiner is a tragic character. He believes that he could bring his family to glory by being loyal to this nation, just to realize that the loyalty comes at a cost of being inhumane. Being torn apart, he became a failure who's lost the will to live. Eren is also an amazing character, seeing how far he's gone, but at the same time how this is the only path that makes sense for him. The voice acting is amazing as well. Kaji Yuki is great as Eren, Inoue Marina really nailed it as Armin, Sakura Ayane as Gabi is great, Koyasu Takeito as Zeke, and of course you can't go wrong with Kamiya Hiroshi. The music is spectacular as always, and it just gets better and better every season. I also would like to add that almost every single death scene in Attack on Titan serves a purpose, especially in season 4. I mean, even though Sasha died, her presence in this season is more significant than in any other season. In fact, because of her death, there's this huge breakout in Nicolo's restaurant, and it is all tied together really well. And even more so, it contributes to the overall theme of the story, which is absolutely brilliant. I guess I could make the case that the first few episodes of this season are a little slow paced, but honestly, I don't think that's bad at all. In fact, a good season, a good series, always needs slow paced episodes to bring about the momentum. I guess I could also make the case that the CGI can be distracting at times, but they are only minor flaws. They do not take away from my enjoyment of the series at all. I guess I could also make the case that the directing is not masterful or anything. I mean, it's not bad, but this anime is still feeling a little cliche at times, people gritting their teeth when they're angry, or the huh sound when someone defies their statement. It's very cliche, but again, it's only a minor flaw and it does not take away from my enjoyment of the season at all. And yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. This season of anime is not only one of the best animes I've ever seen in my entire life, and it's not that I've seen a lot of animes, but also story wise, this has got to be one of the best stories I've ever come across in my entire life, and I'm not even kidding. Stories of this high caliber, stories this beautifully written, this meticulously crafted, is so few and far between, and Isayama Hajime is a master at writing something like this, and it's nothing short of brilliance. Yeah, Attack on Titan, final season part 1, strong 9 to a 10 out of 10. Yeah, this is the first 10 I've ever given to an anime. Originally, I was going to watch Death Note like sometime soon, like a couple months later, and I thought Death Note would be my first 10, but this one it's a 10. So, have you watched Attack on Titan Season 4, Part 1? From 1 to 10, how much did you rate it? Like if you like it, and subscribe if you want more, and thanks for watching.